Welcome to the last new lesson on the Workplace Hazards Unit, which is noise and its impacts. First of all, noise is rarely discussed as a workplace hazard, and the reason for that is the damage usually takes years to show up. It often happens slowly, people don't really notice, and often people don't associate the hearing damage with their workplace until it's too late and they've got the damage. So it's fairly hard to get all of this in place when you really want it. Noise volumes are rated in a unit called decibels, which has a short form dB, and the type A is a particular type of noise rating that they use, so we're just going to use the dBA unit, where an increase in 10 on the decibel scale means something is 10 times louder. So put another way, if you have a 80 decibel reading, that will be 100 times louder than 60 decibels. Okay, so every time you have 10 times increase in the decibel reading, it's a 10 times louder. It's a 20 increase in decibels, it's 100 times louder. If it's a 30 decibel increase, it's 1,000 times louder. Moving on to the next slide in 3, 2, 1. Reducing noise involves reducing your exposure time, and I'm going to give you a handout in class that talks about how that can be done, or wearing hearing protection, which could be earplugs, earmuffs, or noise canceling earmuffs, which are electronic. They are usually battery powered, which can also do the job. And some of those are interesting in that if the noise is really loud, they will cancel out some of the noise, but if the sound is quiet, you can still hear it. So some of these are really high quality where you can hear a person speaking normally like I am right now, but if it was a really loud noise, it would cancel it out. The way the Canadian law is written is it's designed to reduce or limit the total amount of sound that you experience in a single day. So if they say that there's a certain amount of noise that you're going to be exposed to, they just have a number associated with that, and they say in a day you can hear up to this much noise. As the volume doubles, the exposure time is cut in half, and they do it in rates of 3 decibels. So if it's in a certain 3 decibel range, they say this is what you got to do. If it goes up by 3 more decibels, this is what you got to do, and I'll show you the chart when we're in class. We're going to move on in 3, 2, 1. The treatment. Now, first of all, an audiologist is a specialist that does hearing tests and prescribes, like a doctor, hearing aids to help with your hearing. Their report, which again I'll give you a handout that shows you this in class, will show the amount of hearing loss over the range of human hearing. So depending on how your test goes, there will be some very high frequencies that you have certain ability to hear, others that are low frequency, and they just test you over a different range, and they will then get you a hearing aid, and they will set it to compensate for whatever hearing loss you have. So if you have good hearing in the high pitches but poor hearing in the low pitches, they will adjust it so that you can hear better in the low, and they won't do much for the high because you're doing fine. I think that's the last one for this slide, so moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right. Tinnitus is another possible result from noise. So this is a disease that you get from hearing too much noise. And it's described as a ringing or a buzzing sound in one or both of your ears. And again, treatment encourages the person to avoid noise as much as possible, which means either just don't be in places that are loud or wear hearing protection in the hopes that over time the problem will fade, which really we call it treatment, but it's basically we're hoping things get better when in fact we're not. All we're doing to help you get better is make it so you don't deal with as much noise in the future. So in the school, there are certain rooms that have things that are naturally noisier than others. Most of you can think of places like wood shop, auto shop, instrumental music room. These are places that are actually fairly loud. And in class, we're going to talk about what those rooms are like with some of their equipment. And I believe that's the last point, so thanks for watching.